We've got Glen on the radio. He's going to make us a contact, I think, maybe on 20 meters. you gotta give it a shot, Glen, or you just kind of listening?
I'll try to find a frequency I can.
Hey, welcome to the National Weather Service office in Albuquerque, and I'd like to take you on a tour. Much of the Weather Service office is one-room operation here, basically, and you're looking at the boiler room just over my right shoulder. Come on in, if you will. I'd like to kind of show you around and let you see what's going on. Right behind my man Todd Shoemake here, who's just putting the finishing touches on the aviation and fire weather forecast. You'll notice that he's got 5 different computer terminals sitting on his desk here, and the general rule here at the Weather Service office is the person who dies with the most terminals on his desk is generally considered to be the winner. So certainly Todd is doing very well right here. Generally, just to kind of point out what each workstation does is 3 of the screens, the ones just over Todd's right shoulder here, display graphical information. And this is maps, this is satellite information, this is radar information. So when we're working severe weather, these are the screens that the meteorologists are watching most closely over here. The one kind of off to Todd's left and might be behind him here is a text terminal. And this basically handles a lot of the writing up stuff that we do here at the Weather Service. Off to the left all the way is the internet, which we use extensively here at the Weather Service. We've certainly made the leap into the 21st century with lots and lots of internet technology. If you come on out and around, you'll notice that there are 4 of these stations, and they're arranged in kind of a 4-leaf clover arrangement, a 4-bladed propeller, if you will.
Okay,
generally,
I already have one question.
Yeah, a question, sure.
When we chat with you, who chats with us?
Generally, the chats will come when you talk about the electronic chats. Yeah, these will come up right here on our screens. And in fact, I'll go ahead and open the window display right here if you want to zoom in. There is actually the display we got on ABQ chat. You'll hear a chirp chirp perhaps even during this tour, and what that is a signal that someone's chat message has arrived right here on our workstation. So we get it, all forecasters get it immediately in real time. I should also point out, if you submit a storm report, it will pop up right over here on the center terminal right away with all the information, all set up for me so that I'm able to digest that rapidly. So you can see how a forecaster might be working on screens here where there's radar and satellite information displayed. You get the immediate storm reports coming in over our text terminal, and then of course we chat with you directly electronically via our instant messaging circuit here at NWS Chat. So a very, very convenient arrangement. Generally, this station over here is where the public forecaster sits, and we use public mainly to include the weather forecast that you would see on television and radio, and also during most shifts, this person helps out with writing the current forecast for the next couple of hours that go out. These provide useful information for our radio and TV customers. If we head over to this side of the office, one of the things that we are able to do is use our computer terminals also to remote control our radars. One of the things you learn with radar meteorology is the importance of having your radar properly configured in order to give the best possible information. Right now our radars are running in clear air mode, but when the weather gets severe, these change over into a severe weather mode, and what that does is send out more radar interrogations of storms out there and brings back information much faster, so that we're able to get a lot of that information as well. So I should point out, since we're there, we have a bank of 5 situational awareness TV screens. These are certainly could carry the commercial broadcasting channels and are ensure that the forecasts that we put out are actually getting to the people the way we intended them. So this is a way we sort of have quality control on our own ability to transmit forecasts out to the public. If we discover that maybe someone at a TV station has got something mixed up, or there's something that's not coming out quite right, then we know that we have to make an adjustment here in order to be sure that that information gets out to all the people. If we kind of step over here, this is of course my favorite spot in the house. This is the home of WX5ABQ right here, and you can see I've got a nice little Yaesu 440 and 2 meter rig, and I've spent many very, very interesting hours sitting basically in this chair at this radio and talking to many of you, and certainly it's a good chance for me to put in a plug for our Skywarn spotters, how much we appreciate you, how much the information comes through this radio basically gets over here to the forecast floor, and we're able to make excellent use of it. So we thank you, and this is the receiving end and where it all comes about. If we kind of slide over here, we have a gadget here that may be a little deceptive. Believe it or not, this is our favorite radio announcer here in all the office. It sure doesn't look like a radio announcer, but in fact it is. This is the voice of No Weather Radio. I don't think I'm giving away any trade secrets to say that that's a synthetic voice. There's not actually a real person that sits here 24 hours a day reading those weather forecasts. And in fact, this is the computer console that drives our No Weather Radio here. The banks of lights and switches up here are now only used for backup purposes. Most of our new technology now is able to use digital technology inside the current radio without having to go up and push buttons and all that kind of thing. Now things are digitally encoded when we send them out to start with. The radio knows right away what to pick up and then what transmitters to play that particular warning or message out. So that
does this fire the data burst that trigger the EAS at the broadcast station?
It most certainly does. As a matter of fact, if we were to actually put a message together here, it turns out that we activate that burst right off the screen. So I'll go ahead and see if I can't bring up the weather messages window. You can see that there's this red box with some radio buttons here. When we make our message, these boxes become live, and then we're able to click on those, and then when the message is transmitted, it will kick out that wonderful, pleasant, tone with the boo following immediately afterwards. That's the screen over on which basically that's launched. So right now, thankfully, we're not actually sending out severe weather messages, but that would be how the operator would otherwise do it. As you can see, we've come quite a ways from the days when an actual person had to come in here, and certainly if they weren't reading it directly, they were recording these cartridges, these tape cartridges that looked like 8-tracks from back in the early 70s, and then would have to keep these things fed with these 8-track cartridges of material. Nowadays, of course, it's all taken care of by a computer, which constructs what they call a wave file, or a file of voice bits, and puts it all together, knits it together, and it sounds actually pretty good. To be fair, some of these voices were not the best when they first started out. If I can share a quick story with your membership, down in eastern Kentucky, I was associated with the Skywarn program down there. I wasn't actually working for the Weather Service, but I do remember having breakfast one morning and hearing a very loud complaint from someone who knew who I was and was basically saying it to the whole restaurant for my benefit, and that was how unfair it was that they hired some German fellow to come and read these weather forecasts when there were plenty of local men that needed jobs down there, and couldn't understand why that was, and obviously he didn't know that was a synthetic voice. Tell you what, I'll take you on outside, and I think we could go over to the upper air balloon building and actually see the balloon being launched and getting ready to be put airborne here in just a few minutes. Go straight up and straight down. We have had one case where a weather balloon did go virtually straight up and came straight down and ended up in downtown Albuquerque in the middle of a street intersection, and it resulted in the bomb squad being called out because they didn't know what it was. And fortunately, we were able to walk down there and convince the authorities that we were not about to launch a terrorist attack on Albuquerque, New Mexico, and recovered our balloon. So that's the basic story here. Door down. What it is telling me is that there's a little difference in wind speed between the two, and this is what diagnoses what we call low-level wind shear, and that is that when pilots are landing, they need to have a pretty clear understanding of what the winds are doing as they are descending, and so this is giving us information and telling us mainly that the speediest winds seem to be a little closer to the ground right now, and that you don't have to get too far up the mast, and already you're dropping off.
Maxine is getting ready to open the door, and it's going to launch her daily weather balloon, and that's the goodie box there with all the sensors in it.
Always make sure no airplanes are coming.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too good, would it? Maxine just told me she has to call the tower and get permission to release.
Thank you.
Good to go, huh?
Let's go.
All right. There she goes.
Wait, forgot something.
You say this is where you check the data coming back from the balloon?
Yeah. It shows my GPS status, number of satellites matched, and I'm on a good reader. And this is where I released. I set the antenna at azimuth of 30, elevation of 50.
Very good.